Hi everyone, we are back online. I am joined today by Brian Parker and my dear brother Yusuf Kaur. How are you guys doing?
We're good, thank you.
It's good to see you both again. I hope you had a well-needed shut eye, and I know that, I kind of hit the gears really hard on Saturday, 3.5 hours. I know some people even continue to do things even after that session, which kind of, I was just telling, the team about this. I said, nothing can beat open source projects because they're running 100% on passion. Nobody's trying to backstab anybody. There is no promotions or rewards. There is no org charter or, someone you have to kiss their asses so they can promote you. It's just a bunch of people that really love what they're doing and they're getting together to do something that's useful. That's it. And that's how I think software should be written, honestly. But that's a story for another day. So few things I've done a little bit of homework over the weekend. I am also excited about the project, obviously, and there is for a lot of people reached out to me and said, Hassan, we don't see opportunity in this project. We want to be, a part of, the this project that you're building. It makes sense. We want to contribute to open source. How do we become a part of it? So here's the cool thing about this. You're gonna see our issues in the OpenAI.net have changed dramatically, right? They have now labels, they have milestones, and if you open the file, you'll see actually full details about what needs to happen, right? You'll see very specific steps, step by step. Now, I can write it down, but I can't read it for you. So you're going to have to kind of read a lot. If you're going to contribute to the community, you're going to have to read and read and read, right? So what I basically, like you saw here, I say, okay, if you want this issue, I'll go through them real quick just so people understand. The reason why I record a lot of these sessions is because I use them later as training and examples materials for people to do something similar. Because people learn all kinds of different ways. Some people like to watch, some people like to engage, some people like to learn, some people like to learn by chaos. They like just break things and they see what continues to break and what doesn't. So for issues that are like these, if you scroll at the bottom and there is nothing like I claim this issue, then this issue is open for grabs. But make sure you read the documentation, right? Because if you don't read the documentation and you do something that's not in documentation, I'm not going to bother reading your pull request. I'll just shut it down. I'll be like, this guy is lazy. He doesn't want to read, literally like five paragraphs or two paragraphs. I'm not going to bother reading your code, even if it's right, right? If you violate what's in the documentation, it's not really worth it. So what do you see here? Very clear description of the ask, how to complete this ask, right? You have an ask and you have a task and you basically you want to ensure you understand, how you integrate with an API through Postman. Find reference for integrating with OpenAI APIs here. So this reference here, when you click on it, guess what it does? It takes you to the OpenAI, reference, so you can see what the references that you need are to develop a broker, right? But then you might say, well, how do I do that? Well, guess what? We recorded all of these sessions. We documented the standards so you can go understand what the brokers are. So that's kind of building your, theoretical aspect of your software engineering skills. But then if you go up in here, you're going to find these nice recorded sessions like the ones that we're doing right now that shows you step by step, literally, that's the beauty of the standard is that there is no ambiguity. There is no mysteriousness. There's nothing. It's only your creativity that's going to get you to move forward, with whatever, is happening in the community. But then, once all of that is done, if you have any questions, hey, ask the standard community. Get Discord. It's a great way, to kind of communicate with people. And if you want to hop on a quick call with someone, you can literally do that right away. You will notice, though, some issues, like acceptance, for instance, will tell you, hey, be careful, this issue cannot start without this dependency. What that basically means is that you need to go here, follow that track. So if you go to the client said, hey, I depend on the foundation. If you click on the foundation, say, hey, I depend on the brokers. If you go on the brokers, be like, hey, I don't depend on anything. So you see how it's really organized. I want to show the community what it's like, ideally, what it's like to kind of track these things. But there's even more prettier stuff about this. If you go into these issues, you can see milestones, and these milestones will kind of help you see all the features that are in progress at the moment. Like you can see, Brian did retrieve all AI. He merged his pull request. I think it's Diogo. He created the generate image, broker. He created this, so it's 16% complete. We still have open things for people to kind of pick up and run with. And if you go inside that milestone, it will show you what's open, what's merged. Look, you see, go here, say, okay, this is done and this is not done. We kind of leverage the power of GitHub because I don't understand. Like, if you have GitHub, why would you go and create, Trello and ADO and all of this when everything is right there? It's right next to your code. You don't have to do much other than just kind of understand how the system works and all that. Okay, so there are issues that are open for grabs. What that basically means is that if you really want to participate, you have all the documentation and the guidance that you need to go ahead and participate. If that's not your style and you want to pick up something really small, then go look for the ones that say code rub or documentation or, things like really small things like these that basically say, hey, change one thing and feel great about yourself. You really learned how to kind of commit and take a pull request and branch out and all that, which is also in and of itself a great skill set. Like, don't underestimate every little detail that you learn, because the beautiful thing about the standard and the standard community is that everything you learn, you're going to be building on top of. Everything you're going to be building on top of. So it's not going to be just one and done. Never going to be one and done. It's always going to be something like, oh, let's go back to our code and see how we did this thing, right? Okay, you will see, of course, because I am also someone who likes to code, sometimes you will see that I'm claiming things. Like, you'll see me go in here and say, hey, well, not this one. Some people, kind of took already that one. Something like get all models, for instance, right? If you see me say this, I claim this issue, that means anybody that will be on the stream with me at this point in time is also participant. Like, this is the main line, the main stream where we're developing features together because it's fun. But there's all these other features on the side that we are kind of happy to kind of let people kind of play with and try out and all that kind of stuff. All right. Hey, Elbic, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, now one more thing, just so you understand, the when you say I claim this thing, we can't have you be a road blocker. What that basically means is that we're gonna go and say, hey, dude, we're happy, post an issue, say I claim this issue. You have 24 hours to complete this issue. So don't just say I claim this issue and then go to sleep, right? You claim this issue, go pick it up and go give me a PR, right? I don't care if your PR is half baked. Some PRs, I will say, here's some feedback. Some PRs, I'll just go and say, this guy's not even trying, shut down. I'll just close PR, and I'm not even going to feel bad about it because, like I said, if you're not reading this, I'm not going to feel bad about it, right? I'm just going to shut it down, right? And then if you have an open PR that's inactive for 24 hours, right? So you didn't get any, two difference. If you open the PR and there's no comments from us, you can stay as long as you want because the ball is on our court, the standard community, the people that are moderating this channel. If you open a PR and I leave you a comment and the comment stays over 24 hours, I'll just shut down your PR. You'll see me say shutting down due to inactivity. You know, most of the things that are here can be done by 50,000 other people. The point of it is for you to learn, not that it's something that only one or two people in the world can do. We're doing create saviors. We're not in the savior creating business. We are in the engineers collaborating, can substitute engineers at any point in time from one project to the other, and you feel no downtime whatsoever. Literally, pick up someone from the street, the street of the standard community, and just put them on a very critical project, and they know how to hit the ground running from day one. Okay?
Should we mention screenshots, my friend?
Great point. Great point. So, a few things that I noticed here when I kind of asked people to do brokers, right? There is no way to verify a broker until we go all the way up to integration, right? So my ask here, it's like controllers and API development and stuff like that. I usually am gonna ask you, hey, put a screenshot, right? Put a screenshot. Show me that this broker that you developed actually works. And this is probably the only time I'm gonna ask you to do this because everything else has a test for it, right? So, for example, if you look at a broker like Post Audio File or something like that, you'll see that, oh no, I actually went and tried this out, right? And here is my code, and it actually worked. This guy, I appreciate this guy, Catalan. Catalan, I think he's from Italy or something, right? All the way from Italy. Where are you, Catalan? Catalan. Yeah, it doesn't say. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is that, he went out there, he put this is a great example of a good pull request, right? And then you'll see some feedback from people kind of saying, okay, what am I missing and all that. And the community is extremely active, especially on this project. What I'm planning to do with projects like these is that it's always going to be an ongoing thing that's going on, right? If people are excited about it, let's get together. Let's make this nightly session thing something that's always going on, and people are building one project or another, right? So beyond OpenAI.net, there will be 1,000 other projects that we can build and develop together. And as long as you're getting your hands dirty and you're putting something out there on the internet for other people to use, don't ever underestimate that. Like, I put RESTful Sense for myself and I close my eyes and open it up and there's like 100,000 downloads on it, right? If it's useful for you, it's going to be useful for someone else. But don't just go and build like, one of the biggest problems I tell a lot of engineers say like, I want to be an entrepreneurial, innovative engineer, right? So what do they say? They say, oh, I'm going to go build a hospital system. I was like, okay, do you own a hospital? Nope. Are you a doctor? Nope. Do you know anyone that works in a hospital? Nope. It's like, well, you're solving a problem that you can't relate to in any way, shape, or form. So I don't understand unless the people that you're working with have relationship or impact, emotional attachment, to this hospital. I don't know how you're gonna succeed. So build things you care about. If you build things you care about, you're gonna succeed. You're gonna succeed a lot, especially if you have mentorship and people that actually show you the way, like the standard community, people that will sit down and say, okay, you wanna build a mobile app? Let me show you how to do that, right? And then we sit down and we kind of get that out there. Okay. And then, so there's that in the standard code. So we're scaling out, right? So some of the things that you will see now on video, since we did end-to-end 2 sessions, now we're scaling out. We're trying to develop from 1 feature per week to 3 features per week. And the reason for that is I'm literally showing people some lessons in project management and engineering management. How do you start and then how do you scale up? And how do you measure your performance in the long run, right? Like, are you actually growing? Is your team growing? Are you delivering more over time? Or is your team kind of declining and slowing down? That kind of tells you how successful you are. And that's not code. That's a little bit beyond code. That's the team standard. The team standard is something completely different from, writing a broker or a service owner. Although based on the same theory, based on the tri nature of everything, a lot of this stuff, is really rooted in this theory and some experience and some stories, but it's something just for people to kind of see. So it's just a big introduction here, just to kind of bring people up to speed, because now we're moving away from showing people how to write code to showing people how to organize themselves to be able to deliver multiple pieces of code at the same time. Okay, so what are we working on today? One of the milestones that we're trying to chase here is to retrieve all models, right? And, we talked about brokers, we talked about how to do brokers. So, Brian Parker, well, let's start with the milestone. This is going to be our way of doing this. We're going to go to the milestone. You're going to look at one of our milestones is at 16%. It has 5 open issues and 1 closed issue. If you go inside this one, it's pretty much the same steps that I showed you, right? You start with a broker and a service and a client. You build an acceptance test and an integration test, and then you release. That's it. You keep doing that over and over again and watch the fireworks, right? And there's a lot of APIs, and Sam Altman is not taking a break either. Like, his team is rolling up APIs literally on daily basis, and now they're rolling up plugins, right? So you now have plugins. If you have been keeping up with the news, ChatGPT, or OpenAI, they're now rolling up plugins, and these plugins are things that you can have in your browser, have it whatever, and it kind of helps you as you're navigating the web. Leverage the power of AI, right? Really stay up to date with that stuff. It's really important. I haven't done this series to develop some library. I hope you can see a little bit beyond that. I'm trying to bring everyone up to speed on a topic that there may or may not be procrastinating to get to learn. But when you're doing it together, we have that energy that helps us kind of do things much more efficiently. And everyone is learning, right? So it's great. So stay up to date with that stuff. See what's going on in the market, because what's going to happen, just so you guys understand, right now we are basically crawling in the AI world. We're just crawling like a little baby. We're just kind of, just really trying to kind of find our way. All of that stuff that we're doing, it's great engineering principles. We are developing great engineering products, But in the bigger scheme of things, we're just scrolling really slowly, just trying to kind of, oh, what is this AI thing? It's great. There will be a point in time where I come together with people like you, like this, and go and say, okay, how do we develop our own AI model? Where do we get these open source algorithms from? What are these algorithms are made of? And it's going to get really hairy and really nerdy so fast, you wouldn't even know what hit you, right? So to show people the map, that I have in mind, because it's really important that people kind of see, where we're headed, where we're going, why are we doing this? It's not just a fun library where we just sit there and waste our time. No, I'm trying to do something. I hope that, people that worked with me for a while know that I always shoot for very interesting things this way. So look, there is already an existing API. That's the guy that's called OpenAI API. That's the guy, right? And that guy is not ours. When I mark something as red, that means it's non-standard compliant. Non-standard compliant, meaning that it's things that are out there, pieces of software out there that doesn't follow our standardization. And you saw in some of our sessions when we're trying to integrate with APIs, one time we hit the API, it gives us a result. We hit it again with the exact same parameters, and it gives us a completely different result. Funny story for people that like jokes about kind of stories in the engineering community. This guy, I just posted this joke the other day, probably this morning I even. The guy is hitting the API and he's getting 200, and inside of the 200 there's a message that says 500 exception occurred. So the dude is, I don't know, like there's so many bad words in my mind right now. So he's basically, instead of communicating proper RESTful APIs or using codes 500, 400, 200, nope. He's returning always 200, but inside the 200 there is 500. Okay?
You caught
Go
the
ahead.
error.
Just throw the error, right? But then
he he
but then
caught
you
it.
you dig a little deeper into this pile of crap, and then you realize, oh, there was a ticket open that says API throws too many exceptions. Fix it. So no test driven, no standardization. Oh, look, I made it return 200. Problem fixed. Get your promo and reward, and you're a hero. Be an engineering lead. That's our world, right? Can't do that. Okay.
Hassan, I'm curious, what product was that? Was that OpenAI or
I can't talk about details. I'm barred from,
okay?
specifying things, but just realize, like, it failed with success. Yeah, Roy Gasper Diaz says it failed with success. Yeah, the task has failed successfully. Mm. So so you have to understand, like, I take certain incidents that I see or hear about or someone talks to me about, and I kind of extract the pattern. So instead of naming names and say, oh, this is a shitty guy, or this is a shitty company, instead I take that pattern and I'll say, how come some people are doing blah blah? You know what's funny about that? Every time I do something like this, people say, oh my God, do you know me? This happens with me. No, dude, I don't know you. But it's so common. Chaos is so common that it's not that hard that you find very predominant common patterns that are happening in our industry today that are just chaos. That are just chaos. Diogo says, unfortunately, I've worked with someone that had that same idea of always returning 200. Yeah, if you see that, you have two options. Option number one, just go change the code. Don't talk about it. Just don't even talk about it. Just open up a pull request. That's option number. That's Hassan recommendation. Just go change the code. Don't even talk about it. Option number two, go to the dude that created that PR and tell him, hey, dude, you can't do that. That's not okay. So you could just open a PR, merge the PR, so you mitigated the issue, and then you go talk to the guy, or you talk to the guy because you have no power to create that PR and kind of influence them to create that PR. What if they say to you, no, you're wrong? Do you know what to do? Run, run away. You are in a chaos zone, and people are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the chaotic system that they become a part of it, right? That's their way. They don't want to learn, they don't want to grow. It's gonna wail on you emotionally and spiritually, and then eventually you're gonna turn into a chaos agent yourself because you can't fight it, right? So look, Look, cutting corners, breaking standards and protocols will bring you money. Following the standard will bring you trouble. And there is only very few handful of engineers with integrity that hold on to that and make sure that they walk through with it. It's like holding a bowl of fire in their hands because everyone is saying you're crazy, but you're not. We can negotiate on features, but we cannot negotiate on quality. Okay? You want to deliver 5 features? Great. It's going to be at this quality. It's going to take that time. Oh, you don't have that time? Okay, you lose features. You don't lose quality. A lot of engineers say, okay, we're going to get it done anyway. What happens? Cut every corner they have. Absolute garbage. That's the difference between the standardization and chaos. All right? Okay, I'm done with my TED talk here. So we wanna create a foundation service that basically retrieves all the models, right? Since people didn't see the broker side, and we already talked about brokers many times, I just want to give people kind of a high level of what this means. When you go to a playground like this, you have on the right side here a bunch of models listed. Some of it is personal. Do you see these ones? Well, this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. So some of these ones here, gee, too close. Some of these ones are personal. These are fine-tuned model, right? And some of them are predefined, like, text query, Babbage, Ada, Da Vinci, and all that. These are the models that we've been kind of arguing about. Oh, how do we do it autocomplete and all that? It turns out there's actually an API, and that API should have probably been the very first API we implemented. I kind of feel bad about this because even in their API reference said, okay, before you do anything, dude, learn how to list the models because you're going to need them in completions and chat and edit and audio and everything that will follow that. Okay, who here wants to kind of explain to the community why there's so many models? Why does it matter? Why do we need these models? Can't we just say, Da Vinci and just move on? Why do we have 50,000 of these? Like when you list these, you have all of these different models with their own names and their own IDs and whatnot, right? Why are these models important to us? Any thoughts?
I guess they are different because of their training data.
I'm thinking the data, and I'm also thinking
Hmm.
the algorithms, right? The
Yeah.
algorithms, right? So
Mhm.
there's just, and we're going to talk about this in a special kind of session as well, just so people understand, data plus algorithm generates a model, and then that model is what we're actually using to kind of benefit from, right? So if you look at, let's take a look here. If you look at how OpenAI really works, right? What did these people do? They basically went and said, hey, we need to develop an algorithm, right? So let's pick up an algorithm here. So here's an algorithm. So this is AI algorithm. And then this algorithm needed to be fed some data. So see, dependency, intelligence, exposure, sounds like a tri-nature of things, right? So here's data, right? And you feed the data into the algorithm. What does it produce? It produces something very interesting that's called a model. And that model can be huge. It can be gigs. It can be 2 gigs. This llama model that got leaked from Facebook and it's now publicly available on torrent and everywhere in the world, 2 gigs or something. 2 gigs model, right? So what the heck is this model? That model is basically what we go and say, hey, here's a question, run that question through that model and see what the model gives us back. That's my understanding. Okay, of course, do your research, do your homework, and see what this works with. And there's a special series. This is a pre-recorded series, not a live series where I basically dig really deep into, how OpenAI works. So there's a dependency, there's a purpose, there's an exposure, and here's your consumer, and that's how that world works, right? These models that come out of that, these are the things that we pick up when we go and say Ada, or we go and say Da Vinci, and we go and say, Babbage and all of these people, that's the model, that's the outcome of this. And that's where your money is, right? Because once you develop that model, it doesn't matter. These things don't matter anymore because you already have the model that's been trained on large sets of data. What's the biggest problem in AI world today is that you have to freeze the data to generate that model. Like that data can't change. And that's why you probably heard about, the chat GPT saying, hey, the last time the data, my data has been stopped on September 2021. Why is that? Because you can't, like, as of today, we don't have an idea of how to continuously feed data and continually evolve the model other than fine tuning. That's the best we can do. But you can't restructure, like if you push the data from the internet, which is growing exponentially, that means you will never have a stable model because it's always getting rebuilt from scratch. Always getting rebuilt from scratch. Your best option is fine tuning or something that I call, a basic or simple programming. And I'll talk about that. You program AI simply, something that's like keeping a value in memory. And as soon as you shut down the program, it's just gone. We're going to talk about all of that. But in order for us to talk about all of that, we need a library to use, right? So that's what we're building here today. So just to go back here, we have this OpenAI, and what we're really building is just a library that's sitting on top of OpenAI API. So this is a library. This is our OpenAI.net. And then on top of that, we want to build business applications that are actually useful for people in the outside world. Does that sound familiar? Purpose. We understood this, we purposified it, and then we expose it to the world. So you can imagine what's behind that API is this guy. It's also model, algorithm, data. You see how these systems now look like? That's how they are structured, right? So whatever Sam Altman and team is doing, they're basically going and saying, here's our models sitting here, right here in the back. You better listen to this because you won't just find this randomly sitting there, on the internet. You're gonna have to kind of dig a little bit for it and kind of map it to your theory, the tri-nature theory. So you see how this is working? You go and say business API, go talk to the exposure layer, the model, give me the algorithm, get the data and move on. Okay, so what I want to do with this community, where are we so far? We are none of this. We're just literally here, just an empty page. And all that we're doing right now, we're just going and saying, hey, maybe I can build this one. But we're going to have to go backwards and forward. And now you become a beast in AI. Now you're ready as a software engineer to go out there and actually show the next generation of computation, how you can actually tackle this AI world, how you can actually work with these things. Cobrande amigos? Did I say that right? Ricky, I don't know. Amigos? Yeah, something like that.
Are you saying like essentially just build kind of like something that would compete with ChatGPT and OpenAI?
Absolutely, 100%. And there is
I'm
1,000.
so on board with this. I'm so on board with this.
Let me just tell you why I'm doing that. First of all, it's not like number one, it's controlled by so many different forces, and we don't have control over these forces, right? Like there was a point in time where some people were asking ChatGPT about, making a joke as a given comedian, and they said, no, I can't give you jokes about this comedian because he's been canceled, right? I don't want to deal with that nonsense. I just want to ask a question. Even if I'm asking you what Satan would say, tell me what Satan would say. Your job is not to tell me your goddamn political agenda. I don't care about that. Just tell me the information that I'm looking for, right? But also at the same time, so it's restricted, right? There's a lot of restriction there, right? But also at the same time, how can you possibly evolve and innovate if you are limited only by the restrictions and the innovations of the people that you're consuming their APIs? Like for instance, you're using .NET. You can only innovate as far as .NET allows you to. This is why we proposed SFAL, Standardized Framework Abstraction Library, that mixes .NET with some other crazy things. So you're not limited by this little guardrails, that tells you what you can and can't innovate. Look, I know it sounds like we're building a fun library, but it conceptually has a much deeper meaning, and much bigger purposes than that. And of course, the business part, because like I said to everyone in the standard community, I want you to be able to go out there and, spin up a startup and be able to bring businesses that want to integrate with AI. Believe me when I tell you, 6 months from now, maybe less. If you don't know AI, people just toss you out. People like, then what are you? Right? Moving data around. I already have ChatGPT do that for me. It's not like there is a foundation of engineers that are sitting together and saying, okay, what's best for the engineering community? Nope. It's just a bunch of rogue engineers being paid tremendous amount of money, and they're shooting themselves in the foot. Right? They're basically going developing systems that deprecate other engineers' work, and then eventually they will be deprecated themselves. Does that sound like a community to you? It sounds like a cage with a bunch of, monkeys inside of it killing each other. We don't want to be like that. Okay, enough with the BS. So, okay, Elbic, do you wanna start a foundation service for us today?
Sure.
Let's
Sure.
go. Ricky, get ready. You're next. You're gonna be doing the passing. By the way, this is gonna be the simplest and easiest foundation service we ever built across this entire project. Because there's no input, so there is no validation, and you're literally just listing a bunch of things. There's no request, there's no response, it's just a response. Let's go to town, son. I got tired of talking. Classic manager, huh? Just talks all the time and does nothing. So stupid. Let's go.
So, can you hear me? Yeah, you can.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So here we have get all models async, right?
Yeah.
And
Brian Parker built that one. It's good.
All right.
Thank you, Brian, by the way. What does Ronald say? I was wondering about this when you were looking for that struct method to autocomplete your models. Oh yeah, about the listing the models. Yeah. Akeem Awida says, grab that. You can negotiate feature, but you can't negotiate quality. Yes, sir. I got you, brother. That's right. That's how I got my 120 likes on LinkedIn this morning. You just feel something and you just put it out there. You don't filter it. Don't think it. Just spit it out there. Right? It's either right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Just put it out there. Be yourself.
So do we call it models? AI models, right?
Yeah, AI models. If you say models, it will get confused with other things.
So AI models.
I think Brian did. Yeah.
That's exactly why I did that. I put the AI models in front of it just to save that ambiguity between people's understanding.
Or do you mean the plural versus singular? Elbic.
No, I said AI models is a folder. That's why it's plural. I just was wondering whether to call it models or AI models. Just for a second.
Sounds good. Let's do it. So before you do that, you probably need some sort of a. Yeah, you'll get there. I'll shut up now. I already talked enough. Yeah. Huh. What do you think about that, Ricky? Because like I don't want to talk politics, man. Just do you see any problem here?
I mean, I'm just waiting for him to see the.
Yeah, let him do his thing. Yeah.
Give him a chance.
What's wrong with that?
Absolutely, I don't know. You tell me.
So. So that's the external model.
His brain's is just waking up. He's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, let me double check what we have in our service.
Try to compare it with completions and check completions.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Why do we have under services models?
Under services, there's models?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So completion, chat completion.
Yeah.
Look, but
They all return models. I don't know what's Ricky, all up about. I think he's tripping.
yeah, so we need to return our business models here.
Ah,
Yeah,
local
Yeah,
models.
there you
yeah.
go. Yeah,
There you go.
that was
There
it.
he is.
Do you have the models yet? No.
I mean, you're building the service, brother. Why would Brian build models that he's not using? He just built what he cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just randomly guessed. Just
Don't worry, Albert. I'm like a 5% right now here. So, but you're good. But you're good.
You
you're
good,
gonna,
son. You good.
you're gonna have to do a little bit of flattening here. That's all I'll say.
Yes, he really does. Yes.
Mm.
AI model result. No.
So let's just call them, just give me back a list of what we call AI model. So create a folder,
Mm-hmm.
under
Yeah.
services foundations, AI models. That's just called AI model.
Okay.
Let's go to town, son.
Under
Ain't nothing but a
services.
thing, one sky man. Let's put some code on the white fire grid people call the internet. Let's do it. I'm waiting for that code to come all the way from Uzbekistan. Give me something. Okay. Why is this guy public?
Because we are returning it until the customer, to the customer, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So it has object and external AI model.
Yeah, go
But
inside
the
that
one
guy.
needs.
Let's just see what it looks
Mhm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
This
So
guy has an
ID
ID, object, whatever that is, created, owned by, and then external AI model permissions. Go inside that guy. Okay, keep going, going. It's all primitive. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go to your local AI model
All right.
and just start defining a bunch of properties. Just take the exact same properties on the external AI model.
Let me pin that.
No, the external AI model.
Yeah, that's one. That's one, right?
Nope. External AI model. This is
Oh, this
external
one.
AI model
Yeah.
result.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wake up, son. I'm getting older. Let's go. Here we go. Let's go to this guy. Smack that one in there. Okay, so take away all these properties. You gotta take them one by one. Is that how we're gonna do it?
How was it?
Yeah, cool. Or you could just do Control X, Do Control Z, Control Z, Control X.
Oh, this looks nice.
All right. So the one thing that we really want to kind of map, we need to create a local model called AI model permission.
Yeah.
And then let's do that. So what we're really doing is that we're flattening. We're basically taking that result, whatever that is, and we're turning it into just a list of AI models, right? We don't really care about the response object ID because it's randomly generated value, and if I'm not wrong, they're using a UUID to just distinguish between every response result. And it's very likely coming back from a NoSQL DynamoDB or Cosmos DB kind of technology. Just guessing here. Blindly guessing. Nice. It was worth it losing that open squiggly. All right. Let's see. Object created. Call this. So created turns back a. I want you to call this created date.
Yeah.
Let's make things a little bit more interesting, and convert that into date time offsets. So we're gonna need to. Yeah, we're gonna need to take that epoch, number that they give you, and believe me, there is a way to parse that. Parker, you wanted to say something? Anything about this?
I'll chase the algorithm for you if you want and post it private if you want.
I appreciate it. And then
Yeah.
let's just look at, go back. Let's just look at the rest of these. Allow create engine, allow log probabilities. Call it allow log probabilities. Still very heavily influenced by their model. Not a big fan of.
Probabilities. Okay, good.
So Hassan, are you referring to the Unix time?
Yeah, APOC.
Oh yeah, I think Datetime offset has a method for that, right?
Yep, it should. If it doesn't, I'd be very. If it doesn't, and this is just a joke for those who have been burnt by it, I would go and download Datetime. And Datetime is, I think, is a library, .NET library where it does datetime for people, and some people had some issues with it. Don't remember exact details, but something around that.
Hmm.
Yep,
So changing
created
that here
date.
too.
And then
Oh.
permissions, AI model permissions, good. Root. Okay, we need to kind of demystify. Brian, what the heck is in object? What comes back from that guy, really?
It is a loose description of what it is, and I'll just say something like list.
Mm.
List of descriptions?
It's really a remnant of the database they're using. No, it just says the word list.
Throw object away.
It is really.
So what should I call it?
Nothing. We don't care.
All right, good.
And root. What's root, Brian? If you know.
Um,
Because by the way, there's a lot of garbage coming from their NoSQL database that is absolutely useless to the user. User don't care about that.
By memory, I'm not real sure. I think root was actually identical to the ID. I'm not 100% on that. But, but the problem is I brought them all in because I'm not sure if they'll still change in the future. Why have two? Why have two different properties if but they both look the same? So it's kind of weird.
Sounds like a workaround, DynamoDB is all good and fun and games until you start doing sharding, and it gets very interesting. I'll take your screen for a second, Elbic, before you do that, because modeling, as usual, is the hardest piece.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back here, API reference, models, and then tell me what your model is. They're not even giving you anything. They're just saying, well, first of all, it doesn't have root here. I don't see root. So I see object all the way out here, which is not what we map to because that's at the result level. That's the external AI model result. We don't care about that. But, in here, this organization owner, okay, I can get behind that. AI model, I don't even see root here, dude. I don't even know if it's legit. So let's do this. Let me go generate an API key. Let's experiment with this together.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of the things listed I feel like are not updated completely. So
Oh
you might
yeah.
have to yeah.
It's almost Yusuf, it's almost like it's important that we build our own API because even this one doesn't follow right standardization and almost, I don't know. All right, here's a key. I'm sharing my screen in a second here. Hang on.
So I created these models with the JSON approach. I actually went to Postman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's go get this RESTful Postman, and it's called what? V1/models, models, and then get that guy invalid. Somebody give me the what's the URL, peeps? API v1/models api.openai.com v1/models get. Oh, I hope to God that it's not a post. That would be a disaster. Is it?
No, it's a get. I'm just getting mine that I had here the other day.
Yours is working?
Yeah, I'm just gonna check. I'm not sure if my key might have been rejected by now because I tend to kill them all. No, no, mine's working.
Oh, so the crazy part about this is that there's a body in the GET request that I was sending, and it was saying, "Hey, why are you sending me a body? Why do you care? I'm sending you a request for GET." I guess it's not bad as a validation, but so here's what we see. I see ID Babbage. Okay, we need that. That's the name. Why don't you change that to name? Change it from ID to name on the local model. Because ID, who the heck's supposed to know what that is? And then object says model, and then OpenAI, and then there's root, which is identical to
The ID.
the IT.
Well, actually, I just wanna say, I think like so if you make your own custom models, this data is the same, but the ID is very weird. It's like an FT, like fine tune the model name and then like a weird GUID. So if you change it to name, and you can change it to name, I guess, but I think the reason why they said ID is so that when you do create these fine tuned models, you have like an ID type thing, so to speak.
So it's like a reference to what models you fine tune based on, right? Something like that.
It's a reference to, yeah, well, it's a combination of not only the models that you fine tune, but the models that they offer in house.
Well,
So
let me see the
yeah.
ones I created. So this is
There it
a
is.
fine tuned, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This fine tuned model, right? This
And
is
go
still
down to,
this here, Yusuf, is still the model name. That's still legit model name.
okay, yeah, if you want to consider that model name, if you scroll down to root 2,
So root says here's the origin. So that's what this is. Yeah, you're right, Yusuf. That's a great. Okay, so it's basically saying, this root and parent is, why don't they write that in their documentation like normal human beings? So root and parent, and is there a place where root and parent are different? Doesn't look like it. I'm pretty sure root is like a NoSQL database thing. I'm telling you right now. But sure, let's put parent in there. We'll always have parent, and parent will always be, because that's when parent is relative, right? So I don't think of a scenario where the root and parent will be different, because they're basically just merely mimicking the ID, but we will learn as we go. So here's what I want you to do. So this is, instead of parent here, just type origin model. Call it origin model. I'm gonna get creative here with names because I want it to be easier for the user to actually understand what these things are just by reading them. So we have a name, created date, owned by, permissions. Taking just another quick look on these trained models. Yeah, they just call them model. I don't know, like, if the object is model, what else other than model for an object there would be? We don't know. Check this model. If DaVinci 300, the root and parent are different. Let's take a look. I'm going back here. Hang on, Elbic. Let's find this guy. If dash DaVinci 3, okay. Here, if DaVinci 3, this guy right here. Can I just zoom in like a normal person? So this guy is a model, OpenAI, and then if you scroll down here, it says the root is this, but the parent is null. Is this, do you mean the second one? Let's see this one. Nope. What about this one? Nope. Nope. What do you mean, Diogo? Yeah, the root and parent are different with the when the parent is null. Yeah, of course. Right, but the parent is null. And the root is just something that the database is doing. We're working around the garbage that the database is omitting, basically. All right. So what did we do here? Let's go back to this AI model real quick. So we have name, created, owned by, origin model. That's the parent. And then you have permissions. Let's go inside permissions and clean it up too. So permissions, ID. What's a permission ID? Let's take a look here. Oh, this is actually an actual ID. Snap, whatever. Okay, fine. That's an ID. And then you have in here, let's see here, you have created date object, allow created date. Okay, look, go back to the AI model and put a string in there that's called type. And that's what they would be calling an object. So just keep that mapping in your mind because you're going to be writing a test right now that does that. Let's go back inside AI model permissions. So the object will be type, line 12.
So, okay.
And then created date, allow create engine, allow sampling, allow log probabilities, allow search indices, view, fine tuning, organization, is blocking. Yeah, I think the rest of those are fine.
All right.
So now, Elbic, we need a service.
Sure. So, well, let's ask of list.
Good.
AI model.
That's right.
Retrieval AI models. Async.
You think, right?
Of course.
Let's go to town. Why is it mad at you? It's giving you the red line.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's that red line? Oh, you created a class, son. It's supposed to be an interface. Poor guy hasn't eaten. Go ahead.
I don't really like list. I think it should be a read-only list or IEnumeral because you can't update it. Just a thought.
Make it IEnumeral. I like Brian too much. He's smart. Let's go.
Yeah, with the class, I believe the toaster that it knows from the I initial word.
Yes, sir.
I was tricked.
Word on the street, internal and interface can be quite similar.
Yeah. So private read-only, we need logging broker. We definitely need a datetime broker, right?
There's no date. Nope. There's no datetime. There's no logging. It's just a library. It's not an API.
Oh. But how can we convert that created date then?
Oh, that's a function in the created date itself. But wait, actually, no. Elbic has a point. No, Elbic is right. We don't want to call the native function.
Oh, so you need the datetime broker for that, right?
Yeah. So let's do this. Put a halt on this. Switch to Ricky. Ricky, create a new issue. Call it brokers, and then say create datetime broker. And create that pull request for us real quick. Let's go, Rick. Let's do it. I'm getting old here, people. I would have been done by now. Come on. Right?
What are you doing? What are you doing with this broker? You're going to have the conversion in there.
Yeah, we basically abstract away the framework conversion thing, and basically because I don't care about testing how datetime offset is doing a conversion. That's not the point of this, right? I just want to call a function that returns something I want that I can mock, and that's a great point, Elbic. Elbic is good because even it's only the 5th of Ramadan and he's just already out. He's out of fuel. He's like, what models? What interface? What's going on? Listen, speaking of which, something like while Ricky's doing this, Ricky, are you checking your phone? Or are you writing code, son? Let's go. I realized talking to Mabruk, a couple of days ago is that, you guys noticed he's not here today because they started this daytime, summer, spring, whatever. So they move the clock forward one or backward one in Germany, something like that. So now it's almost impossible for him to join these meetings, right? And he said, hey, I want to join this meeting. It's not fair. You chose this weird time because Brian is your friend, but what about the rest of us, right? So, Ricky, you're not sharing your screen, by the way. So I said to him, listen, dude, we're gonna have 2 sessions, and one of them is going to be in the European time zone. So to me, it'll be like afternoon, noon. For you, it will be something that's, you're after your sunset, so you'll be able to be fully functional as a human being. He said, yeah, I look forward to that. Will everyone be there? I was like, I don't know. It'll be like 3 in the morning for Brian. It will be very hard. But it's
Hey, I was there this morning. Nobody turned up.
yeah. So it's like we made this party invitation, And then Brian just bought the balloons and brought the brought the cake, and then he looked around and be like, "Where's everybody at?" It's like
They cancelled the party while I was sleeping.
they,
Jesus.
they canceled we can we canceled we canceled the party on Brian while he's asleep. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, let's do this.
Creating the branch right now. Give me.
Thank you, boss.
It's actually not too bad. It's actually 5 o'clock in the morning for me, so I just set my alarm for 4:30.
Oh, really? 5? Around 5? Yeah, normally I don't know why I did this to myself. I have a lot of folks that I talk to these days that are on the Eastern Standard Time. So their 9 a.m. is 6 in the morning for me, right? And they're all kind of hyped up. It's a Monday morning. They got the caffeine. They're ready to go, go, go. And I am literally just got off of a very long session trying to kind of debug some code or something. My brain is fried. I was like, Hassan, let's go. We're gonna crush it. We're gonna crush it. Like I'm gonna crush your head, if you stop doing that. But anyway. Okay, my friend, let's do this. So we need a folder that's called date times at the brokers level.
Yep, already on it.
Did you guys see the trick that Christo showed me? You can create multiple files and folders all at once. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that. I can see myself dropping Razor files with their code behind and their isolated CSS all in one hit. So, yeah.
Let me tell you a funny story. I was talking to this, PM. He's a great guy at the Visual Studio Dev Foundation, and he's the one that showed me this .http where you can actually just write on a file a post and then link or get link, and you run it, and it gives you the results, right? So I swear to God, people on LinkedIn do cocaine or something. Something's wrong with them because I post this on LinkedIn and I'm like, hey, did you know that you could do that in Visual Studio? And I get this guy answering me saying, yeah, I've been doing that for months. The dude literally released this on Visual Studio, like it's internal release, like Microsoft employee only release. And the guy's like, yeah, I've been doing this for months. I was like, I don't know what he's on. I'll have what he's having, whatever that is. That was just, I was like, I didn't even answer. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Was he a fellow Aussie living in the future?
Maybe he was from the future. You know what? I didn't think about that possibility. That's a possibility. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. And then there's, the other folks on the internet where you're trying to show a point and they completely miss the point. Be like, hey, but how come you defined the variable this way? I'm like, my man, I'm trying to show you this specific functionality. You're kind of, what are you doing? Anyway, it's just internet is funny. It's funny. I had to tell people, you just don't engage in trolling on the internet. Do not engage on trolling. I have a guy on my Twitter feed. Every time I post something, he goes and says, yeah, but Visual Studio doesn't do that. Or it doesn't work on Linux. And people get all riled up. And I'd be like, why are you guys answering this guy? He knows that Visual Studio can do that. Why are you engaging with that? You're wasting energy. You're emotionally invested in this. Go freaking read the standard and build something worth its while. Don't worry about that guy, That guy doesn't want to learn anything. He just wants to troll people.
So
Anyway.
what's the common method
Okay, so hear me out. You're returning a datetime broker. So type datetime broker.
Datetime broker? Okay.
Sorry, datetime. Datetime offset.
Oh. Yeah.
Datetime offset. And then in front of it, just type in convert to datetime offset.
Okay.
And then you take an integer, and that integer is basically
Shouldn't be a long? Shouldn't be a long?
Should it be a long? Ideally, we do represent the total milliseconds as long, but I don't think that's what they're sending us. They're sending us an integer, Brian, why did you make it an integer? You're on
I think he's
mute,
on mute.
brother.
Yeah.
You're on mute. Brian, Paka. Can I unmute? Can I unmute him from here?
No,
Yeah, I can. Oh, so I just muted him when he unmuted himself. Yeah, I just unmuted him. Go ahead, tell me.
I'm not 100% sure. It's just the number of seconds since 1971, isn't it? Or 1970? I can't remember exactly. Been a while since I've been in the Java universe.
Yeah, there is a name for it. Ron says, would it not be better not to rename things so that people that look at the original API, OpenAI's documentation still understand it? Maybe just add comments. Yeah, definitely comments. I'm okay with adding comments on the models, things that you don't have access to the source code for. Absolutely, Ronald. There will be a task where I just go and tell people, hey, document the interfaces, by putting comments in there and say exactly what it's doing and what it's targeting in that API. But you also have to understand there will be processing services, that have no API behind them. It's using multiple APIs to give you a certain functionality. Anyway, for the time being, Ricky, let's do long. Long is forgiving. It can take both int and
Yeah.
and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's total milliseconds or something like that.
Total. Okay.
Now, while you're doing that, just to kind of verify, because I have the API, I have everything going on here. That's a good point, by the way, Ron. I appreciate it. I hope you're okay with me calling you Ron. I could also always say Ronald. I'll take your screen there for a second. And on my side, I'm just going to copy one model that I know that we've created recently. I think Curie, I think Elbic is the one that created this query, but they're the DaVinci personal. And then I'm going to take the created time in here. I'm going to just convert it just to kind of proof of concept. Always test over the test. The test and the test. If there's no unit test or not writing unit test on this thing, just try. I'm just gonna do this datetime offset, and then from Unix time milliseconds. Let's see if that's it.
Yeah, I think that was
Nope, nope.
no,
That's wrong. That's not
that's
it.
not the one. Okay.
That's not it. Hang tight. See, that's why we're testing. From Unix seconds. Yeah, that's more like it. So Unix time seconds. That's the guy.
Time seconds.
Yeah.
So it would be total seconds then, right?
Yeah.
Instead of total milliseconds. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's why I think an int. That's why I think an int is fine. Makes me sure.
Yeah. Ronald says only my mom calls me Ron. Okay, I'll call him Ronald then. Yeah. All right.
So,
Uh,
do we do a quick update on the external model from integer to long?
yeah, we should probably do that.
Oh, right. As the ends, right?
No. Why?
No? Oh,
Why?
sorry.
It's
Again,
it's
I'm
it's
I'm
still
at
long.
15 here. I'm at 15 here. Sorry.
I actually don't think a long's necessary, but because it's seconds, not milliseconds.
So the maximum? Okay, let's do this. Hang on, Ricky. Let's do this. If I go back here and I say datetime offset dot from Unix time in seconds int dot max value, that gives you the year 2038. We need long. Brian, probably Elbic will be still alive by the year 2038. I don't want him to have someone coming in and be like, your .NET library is crap. Be like, we built an entire economical system on top of your library because you said it's standard compliant. So if it's max value on int and at the coming that's int, but imagine this, if I go here and say datetime offset dot from Unix time in seconds, and I say long that max value, would it blow up? Ah, Brian is right, because this guy, even the implementation of this guy, datetime offset dot from Unix time seconds, would it take double? Nope.
What about unsigned int to get you a better range?
Datetime offset, that's a good point. Dot from Unix time in seconds and uint dot max val. That takes you to the year 2106. I think uint is the way to go. Brian Parker is right. Did you guys also know that there's something called NUint like this? In int like this. Nint. Have you heard of that one, Parker?
No.
No? The problem with this type here, it's very, very dependent on your microprocessor architecture. That's why you never hear of it, right? Why is that? If you're 64 versus 32, the value of that int will change dramatically, right? What you consider a max value in here, if I'm not mistaken. You know, see, it doesn't even have max value on it. Anyway, let's go back to this. Now, to hate to distract, engineers are very easily distractible. I just want to throw a little something in your heads and then just move on.
So we should
You-
replace this to uint.
Uint, yeah. Let's go with uint for this one.
Still call it total seconds though. Okay.
Yeah, Ronald says time span equals ticks equal nanoseconds. No, what's the, so yeah, that's right. But what, how do you represent nanoseconds, Ronald? Is it an int? Is it a long? Is it a uint? That's the thing. It's a numeric value, right? Thanks, Elbic. Elbic created an issue for this.
But this isn't actually ticks. This is actually Unix time, which is seconds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halima Kalanova says, are there some attendees? Yes, ma'am. There are some attendees from all over the world. We have about 12 people, watching, at least on YouTube, and we have about 5 people here on the channel.
Is this good enough to?
Let's see. Yes, sir. Yeah, don't forget the copyrights.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then let's look at the other file. Let's see here. Take that empty line. You just created an empty line for yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this
And
one
then,
too.
yeah, and then Elbic, you're gonna have to kind of merge that. By the way, just so you guys understand, whatever is gonna be dependent on that is gonna break everything. So we need to remember to register the iDatetime broker. Super important. Okay. All right. Yep.
We're doing the code rub on the broker for the uint, or do you want me to create an issue?
So I think Elbic created an issue. Ricky, that's not the name. The name would be convert datetime.
And created the PR too.
Okay. Who created a PR?
Me.
Oh, you already did? Okay, good job. All right, let's go back. Too late, Parker. You snooze, you lose. Can't play that game with these guys, It's why I had to do the whole claim thing. It's not because I want organization. I'm just trying to kind of smack their hands and tell them, don't touch my stuff. Get off my lawn, That's my stuff, okay? No, I'm just messing around. All right. We're gonna have to talk to this guy from Iceland about his foundation service at some point in time. Did he follow the standard in the oh my god, you're not kidding. Dang. Okay. Elbic, review his PR, please. I appreciate your effort there. I don't know if the broker is the broker for images done. Hold on a second. This doesn't make any sense. How did he implement? Did he just create a fictitious did he create a fictitious broker? Okay, hold on a second. Data image integration model. Hold on.
It should have been in the past commit, right? Or it should have been already in the commit.
This is gonna break my heart because if I see brokers in here, it's gonna be a big problem. Okay, so he has what broker did he call? What did you call, brother? I open API broker, and then he called. I mean, convert to image generation. Post image generation request async. Did we merge this? Brian, you merged that PR, right? Is that what it is?
I thought I tried to merge it this morning, but it's actually still in the open list. I'm not really sure.
No, it's right here. Post image generation. He did merge it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's okay. I didn't see a screenshot here though. Do we have a screenshot here?
Yeah. No.
This is a screenshot of no. He did do screenshot.
Yeah.
Okay, Elbic, while Ricky's doing the okay, Ricky, you have the PR open, right? Let's do
Yeah,
this.
I already created. Yeah.
Okay, so Elbic, this foundation generate image is yours to review.
Okay.
So that's another feature running on the side next to us. That's the community pushing through. That's great. Let me just take a look at Ricky. Ricky. Good. All right, good to go. Love it. I'm not even gonna wait for the build because I can. Sharf says, "Oh, those guys are fantastic. Oh yeah, they're fantastic and oh yeah, big time." All right, back to Elbic. Now you need to pull from main, my friend. So somehow
Yes.
yeah. If we can get just a passing test for retrieve all images out the door, we can meet tomorrow and handle all the exceptions. And then that's a service. And then we do the client, the acceptance, you know the drill, the integration, and before you know it, here's another release. The cool thing about this release, if this guy from Iceland does it right, I don't know how to say his name, it's very hard for me, but you know who you are. The if he does it right, that means that zero point 0.3 is actually going to be zero point 0.4 because it's going to have two different features with it, which is amazing. I'm excited about this. I really like this. Okay, now we have two dependencies. Good.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it's good.
Mm.
On the foundations, I'll create AI models
Mm.
and
A little,
AI.
it's a little bit of work, just so you know. Do you
I
want me to
know.
take it?
Yeah, I know that. Let me try. So
Give it a
it's
try.
AI.
See, that's my brother right there. Be like, nah, no, dog, I got this. I don't need you. Okay, cool.
So yeah, let me try some trick here.
So Yusuf and Ricky, tomorrow you guys gonna be basically taking care of the. Look at this guy. God damn, nice. You guys gonna be taking care of the handling the exceptions, and then the session after that, we do all the clients and acceptance and all that, and then release it. So just two more sessions. See how fast the team is getting compared to the first time. And the first time has to be slow because I want to break this into smaller kind of videos that I can share to point people out to how to do a particular thing. You see, you can leverage that as an opportunity.
So we're doing 2 sessions tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have well the European the European session needs to be adjusted because people told me that time doesn't work for them. So we're gonna do one at night for sure. Excuse me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Like, it suddenly changed for the
Mm,
afternoon.
hmm Especially for you, Ricky, because I know like it's really late for you. This is bad, man. This is damaging your brain. It's not a good thing.
I mean, the trick is just to sleep like at 8 p.m. Just
Hmm
sleep for a little bit and then go do the session, then go back to sleep, and
Yeah.
they have like this call it sleeping pattern, the Feynman pattern. I don't know if you ever heard of that, where you take different sleep cycles.
I personally sleep 1 hour at noon. That's my nap. And
Right.
then at night from like one to three or 1 to 4, and that's it. And do not try this at home. That's a bad idea. It'll break your brain, you know.
But I'm
Okay.
guessing it's because you're already used to it, though, right?
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was like 16, 17. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so Elbig, we're gonna need to play this randomization game.
Yes. So we need this random
Yeah.
thing, just like this.
Yep.
So it's gonna be dynamic, and we are going to return all the properties of the. We don't have request this time, right?
There's no
Or
request. It's just 2 levels. That's it. You're
all right.
doing mapping once. That's it. It's
So
really
we're gonna
cute.
need
This time it's really cute.
the random completion properties for response, right?
There's well, similar to that. Yeah. Did I just see a method touching another method without an empty line between the two of them? Well, that's not right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Scroll down. Look
Oh
at this.
yeah.
Put the space in there, or you just give it to someone. Give it to someone.
Yes, let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Private, then static, dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
create,
Create
random
AI models properties.
properties.
Yeah. It has to be a list, just so you understand. AI
List.
models.
Oh yeah.
And this is a list of dynamic. Well, see, this is gonna be tricky for you. Why? Right? Because you're. I'll explain. Just do your thing. It's not as easy as it looks.
Really? So return enumerable dot select something like this.
Yeah, but you're flattening the model, so that result that Brian creates, needs its own kind of structure. But you're doing fine. Just go.
So you can basically create another dynamic method.
Yeah.
So for that single model, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Let's go. Private.
There's
Start.
another trick there that's very interesting, but we'll talk about
Let's,
that.
yeah. Let's teach me. Let's go to the
Just get
Well,
straight to it. That's that does
well,
one
I told you let me do it. And he was like, nah, I can do it. So look, so there's a couple of things. Remember that you're fundamentally changing the model, so it's not apples to apples this time, right? So you're
Yeah.
changing the models. So what that means is that you need to create 2 dynamic properties, one that says ID and another one with the exact same value that says name. Why? Why can't you just go and say, well, dynamic model dot ID and map it, because you'd be repeating the business logic. Things that are equal to the same thing are equal to each other, right? So
Yes.
so start from the smallest factor, like start from permissions and work your way up. This is how I would do it personally. So you don't get yourself kind of, stuck, be like, oh my God, what am I missing? If you start from the smallest unit and work your way up, you should make your way there.
All right.
Sharif says, will you include the way you organized your issues and milestones in the standard team, or will it be exclusive to this project only? I mean, the way we did this is just really exclusive to GitHub, not a particular project, but I'll definitely kind of show people how to do that. That's not a problem. You need to have full control over the repository though. Yeah, we could show people how to do that. It's definitely something useful. It's more like a program management-y kind of thing-ish, kind of, but it's really important for engineers to have that end-to-end kind of organization. You would be surprised how many organizations, companies that are completely lacking how to organize stuff. I've seen some places where people are using, Excel sheets to organize their issues. I was like, wow, okay. So I guess that's one way to do it. It's also really important for me that you link the story or the issue to the code, and then link the code to a release, and then link the release to an epic or an objectives with business. You see the whole world connected now. You can see the whole story, right? That's much better than, throwing things around. Mnemonic string.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's really mnemonic. So M-N-E-M-O, M-N-E-M-O,
M-N-E-N.
M-O, M-M,
Why?
M like man.
Yeah. Oh.
My man, take the E out.
Oh, let me copy that. Why am it's not showing that to me.
It's pronounced mnemonic string. What's a mnemonic? What does a mnemonic means, Yusuf? Something that's easy to remember, right? Mnemonic.
But not definitely right.
Why everyone's on mute? What are you saying, son? Tell me.
I was gonna say honestly, no idea. I've heard this word before. I probably used it too, but
I
like
know
it's been a
I know
while.
in English mnemonic device is a way that helps you kind of remember, certain words, certain things. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I think like what I used to, because in biology we studied. I was a biologist prior to doing software engineer. If y'all don't know, like that's my degree. If that means anything, I don't really
It's a
think
lot.
degrees are as. But yeah, it's been like 4 years since I've actually done anything in the bio world. But I wanted to say that mnemonic is like a way of memorizing, or was a way of memorizing something. So like
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle. I forget what that stands for, but it was one way of like memorizing something, either in
Oh,
biology or something in general.
in
Yeah.
England, you can get some folks offended saying Bob's your uncle. I remember this friend of mine, if I say Bob's your uncle, be like, "Oh, please don't say that. That's a horrible thing to say." And I don't know why. Brian, is it the same thing in Australia or Brian is on mute?
I had 3 Uncle Bobs, so yeah, I don't know.
That Brian is like Bob's always been my uncle. All right, that's funny.
We have that.
Okay, so you created the permissions. Now let's create randomization for. Did we change anything in the naming of permissions
Now let me
between the external?
external. Oh, okay. Let me check that. We call it AI model permissions, I guess.
Yeah, but did we change anything in the properties between the external and local model?
Yes.
What did we
It was
change?
log probs here,
Uh-huh.
and the object,
Uh-huh.
and created. So we
Good.
changed 3 of them.
Good. So on your side,
Mhm.
what you're gonna do is that you're gonna need to also create these other properties. You see how it says allow log props? Create one under it, right under it, that says allow
Okay.
log properties.
So let me go to and copy paste the name because
Yeah, it's a hard word. Probabilities. What did we say?
I don't want to have
Right there. Oh,
yeah.
side by side? Cool.
Okay. And should I make it
So
equal
now
to
you need to
allow?
define, now you need to define a variable
Yeah.
right before that return statement, call it a bool, and just say random allow log probabilities. Yep, and now assign it to both of them. So now that's the z equal x and z equal y, therefore x equals y.
Okay.
Euclid law of axioms. Things that are equal to the same thing are equal to each other.
An anonymous type cannot have multiple properties in the same name.
Yeah, because you have
yeah,
two
sure.
of the same name.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. And then you have ID. What else did you change between local and external? Type?
Created date. Yeah, created date. This guy.
Created date and type, right?
Yeah.
So here where it gets really interesting, right? So you want to go there and say, let's do created. So do you have created in here? You don't have created in here, right?
Created date. It's
no, on the external side.
Yeah. Okay.
Created.
No, yeah, I don't have that.
Let's put created there.
Interesting.
Why did it not copy that? Maybe it got deleted when you were doing one of your ninja stuff.
Probably so. It's random number.
Uh-huh. So
Mm.
created has a random number, right? And this random number is an int, right?
Yes.
Positive. It should be a positive int, shouldn't it? Why should it be negative?
Oh, it's not gonna be negative.
Yeah.
Brian, are you saying it could be negative?
Well, is your random function going to return a negative?
No,
If
no,
it's an
no,
int?
no,
Yep.
no. What? Go back to your created number. It creates something between like 2 and 10, 2 and 9, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So now here's a question for the group. How do we tell the system this randomly generated properties? This is brain power. This is not grunt power now. You know, how do we tell the system created and created date should have the same value in two different formats while still testing and verifying that get convert that method that Ricky created that for date time offset is working the way it's supposed to. How do we do that?
Do we provide facts?
Facts. Like you mean theory?
Yeah, theory. Yeah.
Yeah, close.
Hardcoded value then, right?
Hard-coded value meaning that someone can work around your
Theory.
test or run in circles around your test.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever resolve to hard, but I know why you're thinking about that.
Yeah, but
Huh.
all right. So
I mean, Brian is close. A little.
but how can we simulate that behavior without
Uh-huh.
repeating the business logic? That's a problem.
You can very much so repeat that behavior without repeating the business logic.
What if you get a
You-
random? What if you get a random date time and then you just turn it into an int?
If you get a random datetime and turn it into an int, that's one way to do it. Very, very nice. Very nice answer. I owe you a gift for that because you're working the opposite way, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
But
what's your way of doing it, Hassan?
but that's not enough. There's a missing piece in that, which is that uh, it doesn't rely on the returned value on datetime offset. The datetime broker.
Because we gotta mock the broker. Yeah.
Ah, so what should we do? Yusuf's solution is perfect, except that it doesn't fit in a situation where the value that you want to get comes from a broker. Like if you didn't have a datetime broker, right there, perfect. You're going the opposite direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's not the case.
Mm.
It's really simple too. Come on, you know how to do this, right? All right, put this as a WIP
All right.
and take it as a homework and think about it until tomorrow. It's really simple, you know. What I want from the community, go on that draft pull request that Elbic is creating and just put code snippets there of what you think the solution may be. If you understand Euclid's law of axioms, you know that your unit test is not under any circumstances supposed to repeat what your business logic is doing. Well, if that's the case, then how do we perform that in here when you have two properties that have different values, but they represent technically the same thing without doing that datetime offset conversion? Let's pick up on what the community says. For us, Al-Khatib says, a mnemonic, a device such as a pattern of letters, ideas, or associations that assist in remembering something. Correct? And then Ronald says, isn't everything east of the UK a negative offset? But does it generate, Ronald is talking about the negative value for int being passed in. In fact, actually, Ronald, I think you're right. You know, if I go, I know that this time converter, how does it represents BC days or years? Like if I go datetime offset from Unix seconds.
This is the thing. The Unix date only goes back to 1970.
Yeah, that's right. That's the epoch, right? 1970. And the computer, just for the people not aware, you know, in the computer world, epoch meaning the world started 1970 or 69, something like that, right, Brian? So, okay, so what if I put this? What happens? It goes beyond. So it is not a uint. It is not a uint. Very, very good point, Ronald.
But
Right?
we should never see a negative number. That would be really invalid, wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't we? Like if you want to point out to
This is the date of a model that's created.
that's the date of the model that's been created, and given that OpenAI, this is business going against structural validation, going against logical validation. Because logically, it's impossible that you're going to get something that's negative. It's true. Structurally, it's possible that you get something that's negative. That's also true. Usually, when I say structural, logical, and external, it's in that order. Like logical trumps, overrides structural. And external overrides logical. Because if external says you can't pass in a student named Hassan, I don't care what your domain logic, your logical validation does, because it will always be rejected. It's in that particular. That's a great point. Another thing that we need to talk about in the standard. Darn it. But okay. So anyway, I think int is the best way. I think int is okay. I think int is okay because so going literally, we just went full circle to what Brian originally proposed. You know, just use int, right? But just to wrap up this session, because we discussed many topics here, I want people to think about how do you test according to Euclid's law of axioms? How do you test without repeating the business logic that the datetime offset value is being generated properly while it truly reflects the integer value that is being passed in or received from the API? How the heck do we do that? It's really simple, by the way. Ronald says, if you are not using the from Unix time seconds method to instantiate, but instantiate the time span directly, you would do this with a long. That's good. That's true. Date time is always a problem for software engineers. Always. Maybe you don't understand time. Okay, if you are clear on this, the solution is actually really, really simple. But just take a look at it. If I come here tomorrow and there's no solution or no solution that makes sense, I'll steal this from you, Elbic. I'll just take it and run with it. Okay? If that's okay with you. All right. Okay, thank you all so much. I appreciate you. You know, we instantiated something. We had a PR that merged, thanks to Ricky. That's great. You know, thanks to Elbic too. But you know, we're gonna need to keep going. So another session tomorrow then. Okay? We'll talk to you later. Take care. Thank you so much.